I knew the path is not going to be easy, but I'm going to make it happen. The way I was raised, I never accepted no as an answer. The whole purpose of what I started to do since I became a surgeon is helping others not to have to go through all that. But how can I make it easier for everyone? Still, you need to work hard to accomplish what you want, but how can you make it easier? How can you help one another?
You gave birth to four children while you were earning your MD with honors. How did you manage that? What would you say to a young woman in medicine today who feels that she has to choose between her career and family?
Well, I think is setting expectations and having goals in life. Is I always had the two goals in life, which were to become a surgeon and having four children. I'm a product of four, and it really worked well for me. The main point here is that if you want it enough, you can make it happen.
So, welcome back, everyone. Today's guest is someone whose career genuinely stops you in your tracks, not just because of the titles or the accolades, which are extraordinary, but because of the sheer relentlessness of the journey behind them. Dr. Sharona Ross is one of the most decorated surgeons in the United States. She graduated summa cum laude and Phi Beta Kappa from the American University, earned her MD with honors while raising three children, and went on to become a true pioneer in the minimal invasive and robotic surgery. She was among the very first surgeons in the country to perform laparoscopic single site surgery and has since authored over 220 peer reviewed publications and delivered more than 200 lectures on the international stage. She has received as president of both the Society of Robotic Surgery and the Society of Laparoscopic and Robotic Surgeons, two of the most respectable global bodies in her field. And in 2009, when she looked around at the surgical world that wasn't making room for women, she didn't wait for an invitation. She founded the Women in Surgery Initiative herself. And now she's adding another chapter, stepping into the world of health technology, partnering with NineHertz to build a platform designed to change how surgical knowledge and clinical care connect across the globe. Joining her today are a group of pre-med students whose journey she is already shaping. Dr. Ross, it is genuinely an honor to have you with us today. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so to begin with, there is a very well known story about you recording every lecture at the American University, transcribing them word by word until the library closed, and still graduating summa cum laude and Phi Beta Kappa. What drove that level of determination, and did that relentlessness shape you who you are as a surgeon and leader today?
Early on, as a teenager, I always knew what I wanted to become, and I had two goals in life. I
Yeah.
wanted to become a surgeon, and I wanted to have four children. And I knew the path is not going to be easy, but I'm going to make it happen. The way I was raised, I never accepted no as an answer. And so I
Yes.
knew working hard will get me there. And
Yes.
so when I moved to the U.S., it was just a matter of working hard. I sat in the first classroom in biology class, and
Mhm.
didn't understand one word the professor was saying. And then he was turning to the board and keep on writing, and I was like, I
Yeah.
can't get. How am I going to ace that one? And so I went to the bookstore and got a recording tape and started to
Yeah.
record every lecture and sat with the books because there was no smartphone, but with the books for until they closed the library every night to transcribe those each class. And I mean, it helped a lot with studying for the classes, but it really taught me basic English that is in terminologies that is not just like talking and everyday English, but
Mhm.
it's more terminology that is for biology, for medicine, for healthcare. And so I taught myself how to do that and worked really hard to ace every class. And I think that the main point here is that if you want it enough, you can make it happen. And it's just
Yeah.
a matter of working hard to make it happen.
Yeah.
And the whole purpose of what I started to do since I became a surgeon is helping others not to have to go through all that. But how can I make it easier for everyone? Still, you need to work hard to accomplish what you want, but how can you make it easier? How can you help one another?
Okay, that's really interesting to hear. Uh, Now, you when you founded the Women in Surgery initiative in the year 2009, surgery was still very largely male dominated back then, and it was toxic. What was the moment you said that enough, I need to change this? Was there a specific experience that was the tipping point?
I had male mentors that were extraordinary. I mean, they were really great. I didn't really work with any women because there were no women surgeons much around me. But in 2009, we had a summer research program, and I was a junior attending. I just finished 2 fellowships, and I, for the first time, noticed that there were 3 women students in among the research, the summer research program. And I got really excited because I was like, wow, it's finally we're getting some women to join. And so when I sat with them and I asked them, so what made you interested in surgery? They were, I'm not interested in surgery. I want to have a normal life and I want to have a balanced life, and it's not what surgery offers. And so they very quickly said that we just wanted to see if medicine is what we want to do rather than surgery. So that's when I developed an event in my house and brought some attending surgeons that were women, 1 or 2, and then that I had to look around to make sure they were not in my institution. But brought 1 fellow that was a woman, that was my fellow, and then 1 resident that was a woman, and exposed that to the approximately 100 students that came to my house from all around the Tampa Bay area. And it was an incredible. I mean, the questions that they had and what they heard from the panel was enlightening, and I really couldn't get them to go home after midnight because they were just enjoying it. And so, but at that moment I realized that if the need is so high in the Tampa Bay area, it must be all around the country. And so that's when the whole idea of the symposium, the annual International Women in Surgery Career Symposium, started back in 2009 in my home, and then after that became an international event that I kind of, for the 17th year now, we're going to celebrate it next year. And so we just had the 16th symposium. And it was very successful. I didn't realize that we're going to need it by now, but it became like a true community where women coming to help one another, which it didn't start that way back when we developed that community. And so women were not as encouraged to help one another. If it was hard for me, why should I make it easier for others? That was the concept, but that has changed. It took about 5 years before I saw the huge change of women that I established that are coming to really help and support the younger generation and enjoying the process. And so that's when it all started.
Okay, so what do you think that the landscape today looks like is different from back in 2009?
Well, I think that we've come a long way. It's still male dominated, but we had at the time around 5% of the surgeons that were really women. Now it's more like over 30%. So we are getting there slowly. So it is better. More women, and now more than 50% of the medical students are women. It's just that we need more of them choosing a career in surgery, and that's where the move toward encouraging women to choose a career in surgery is. And really, it's not what it used to be. In my time, it was really difficult. I mean, where there were very few women, and so it was very male-dominated, even in the way things were happening. But now, since we have more women, it's a lot easier than it used to be. It's more supportive, in my opinion. There's more understanding. There's more kind of. I had great male mentors. However, having women mentors really helped later on, because who can help another woman other than another woman that goes through the same things, the same social perceptions and expectations and all of that? I mean, another career woman will be the only one that truly can understand what I went through. And so I think a lot has happened over the years from the point of view of helping women. And I think now organizing it more and developing a strong community that can, and with an address where they can come and really help each other, is necessary.
So, as we were talking about womanhood, I believe that motherhood comes hand in hand. You gave birth to 4 children while you were earning your MD with honors. How did you manage that? Like, what would you say to a young woman in medicine today who feels that she has to choose between her career and family?
Well, I think is setting expectations and having goals in life. Is I always had the two goals in life, which were to become a surgeon and having 4 children. I'm a product of 4, and it really worked well for me. And so I thought that because of my career, my kids shouldn't pay the price of not having each other. And so I didn't want my choices to limit what my kids have, the experience that they can have the same as I had and enjoyed it. And so it was important to me to have not 1 or 2 kids, but 4. Even though nowadays, when I'm in more of a leadership position, I think that women that have kids and are, really highly qualified, that means that they're that much competitive. If they can manage both, be competitive in their area and having the kids at home, that shows me that they can do it all. And so for me, it's not a weakness, but at the time when I was trained, it was people were afraid that if you have all of those stresses, that you probably will not complete a program. But I did, and I think that setting expectation, as I mentioned before, is really goal with the people that you are around. I mean, they need to know what to expect. And early on, I said I don't cling to the person who became my husband and my mother-in-law. I said I don't cook, I don't clean, I don't do laundry, and I'm going to medical school. So that was said from the beginning. And I think once you said it that way, they're no like, oh my goodness, she doesn't do anything other than study. She doesn't. That never was raised. And in fact, the expectation was such that everything is going the right way. And I think that's key. So setting the expectations after you set your goals is key. Having plan A, B, C, and D. And that's regarding balancing life and career. That's something that I would do definitely different. And what do I mean by that? For my kids, I made sure as a parent that my kids were cared for. So I had my mom there, I had my in-laws, I had my husband there to take care of the kids. And I knew that they are cared for, they're loved, they have everything they need, but they didn't have me necessarily because I was at work all the time. And so I felt that I can do that because my mother is taking care of the kids, or my husband they're being loved. But, in retrospect, I missed a lot. And so that's why I understand now the importance of balancing better, of being there. Now, I don't think that we have to take them or drive them to school, because that's not where the quality is, but having quality time with your kids more often and being there for them during important moments of their lives is key. I've been to some, but I could have done a better job, but there was no guidance. And that's why when I say about developing a community of women who can really guide me better than another woman, who can guide Claire better than another woman, you know what I mean? Because the guys, it's a different situation. Society holds them to a different standard. And so that's where I think that balancing, every time when I'll be in an interview, people ask me, so how do you balance it all, like career and 4 kids and all? And in my heart, I say, when you figure it out, please let me know, because I just do the best I can. And the best I can is making sure my kids have everything they need, and I'm at work. But is it the best for the kids? I don't know, because now in retrospect, they didn't have a lot of me in their lives. And so that's something that we need to change. And the only way to change that is by balancing better. And that is my goal with setting the app, the community, and with the Women in Surgery Career Symposium, where the older generation comes together with the younger generation and just teach them what we've learned and how can they make it better for themselves.
That's commendable. I mean, you have been truly inspiring with balancing things so beautifully. And so you were one of the first surgeons in the United States to perform laparoendoscopic single site surgery. What does it feels like to be on the frontier of something no one has done before? And how does that parallel your approach to build a tech platform with NineHertz?
Well, I think that I love innovation. So that really drives me. So patient care drives me, and then right next to it is innovation. How can I use technology to improve patients' outcomes in the operating and outside the operation, in the operating room? What's really truly exciting is where surgery is going. And when it comes to digital surgery, that's where we are now, and that's where it's going, which is putting together the most advanced technologies like AI, like robotics, data analysis, enhanced visualization in imaging, that all being brought into the surgical practice to improve patients' outcomes, to improve overall complications rates, to diminish them, and to improve and enhance recovery of patients. All of that just by bringing this digital surgery together using AI. I mean, for instance, and it can be used preoperatively, intraoperatively, and postoperatively. Intraoperatively, you can use virtual reality, digital surgery data, and a simulation. Like, let's say you have a particular difficult operation that you're about to do, you can use virtual reality to do the operation, specific operation, practice it during simulation session before you go and do it on a patient. And so that's something that can be very, very useful. Intraoperatively, what if you had AI to really guide you with how the patient is doing? When I was doing open operations, I was at the bedside. I could tell if there's tachycardia. I can tell because just holding the tissue. Well, now I'm removed from the bedside. So if there's a heart rate that goes up or desaturation or anything that happens to the patient, I'm not aware because I'm focused in the robot and doing the operation. And so can you imagine if we have an AI intraoperatively telling us when the patient is tachycardic or the patient desaturating before it comes to what happens a lot is you hear about it later on, and then you're handling the consequences. If you have AI there to guide you from the beginning to interact, it will be amazing. How about automation? In the doing on the robot, you can have the robot do certain cases or certain parts of the operation that are based on how an expert would do it, or how the robot can train the surgeon how to do something that an expert would do. I mean, you can take it so many different ways and different levels of assistant that would really help the surgeon. When it comes to data analysis, you can record an operation and then use AI to give you insights to the surgeon of how to be more efficient, how to be, how to do the technique a little bit better, and really help them develop the skill sooner. And sometimes if they don't have the access to the right surgeon, they may never learn that. But that can be taught very nicely. Automation. Now we're going into some certain parts that the robot can do by themselves, and really could kind of standardize the quality of care that every patient gets. And it keeps on going on and on. You can have telesurgery where you can do teleproctoring or tele collaboration with another surgeon that is in a rural area, doesn't have the expertise necessarily, but now the patient doesn't have to travel, the family doesn't have to travel, they can stay in a hospital that is nearby, and the surgeon there can get assistance from an expert and do the operation together. So they can be for as a consultation or to really do it together robotically. And so where it's going, it's incredible. What about the humanoid robot? I mean, that's when you have a robot doing the operation. Now, I'm not trying to say that you'll have something to replace the surgeon, because you're always going to need a surgeon there, because those robots are as good as the data you place into them. So and let me tell you, not every person is the same. You always still, after almost nearly 20 years of operating, and I still see things that I'm like, wow, I didn't see that before. So if the robot doesn't have the data, that it's familiarized themselves as to what needs to happen, you need a surgeon there to guide that robot. And so from that perspective, you're always going to need a surgeon in the operating room. But you'll be able to standardize the care in such an enormous way. So but it has to be done right. You have to have everyone at the table, not just the engineers and the innovators and the IT, but also the surgeons at the table, so we keep patients safe, because we are the ones who are taking care of those patients. And so but the future is incredible. It's exciting and has great implications that are and impacts on patients in a good way, on their outcomes, on reducing complications rate, and really improving recovery and survival. So I'm really excited about that.
So, you have served as president of both the Society of Robotic Surgery and the Society of Laparoscopic and Robotic Surgeons. What does leading at that global level teach you about building communities, and how did those leadership lessons influence the platform that you have built?
Yes, so I have been the president of two really great societies that I have great respect for, and their impact on surgery and the community in general. What I've learned is two important things. It's about the importance of collaboration and communication that has to happen in order to develop a really efficient a community. And what I try to develop in the Women in Surgery and Innovation app is really a community of women that will collaborate, that will communicate better, and have a forum, a community that is safe, that allows it to be vulnerable, that allows them to share, that allows them to help, from the high school students to pre-med, medical students, residents, fellow, attending surgeons, and even nurses like R&Ps, PAs, and women in innovation, women in surgical industry that may need the help of surgeons. It's a community that is there to help one another. And for us women, it's just not coming naturally for some reason. But I think we're getting better in helping one another. But really, it should be that when a woman reaches a leadership position, she should send the elevator down to help the next woman to climb up. And I'm not so talking, it all should be by merit. I just feel like many women are being overlooked. And so it's our responsibility as women to help one another and really send the elevator back down. And I think once we do that, then having a platform like the Women in Surgery and Innovation app would help the younger generation to connect with the older generation, and really find mentors, sponsors, help with research or jobs or anything that they need. Pretty much anything. Just a safe community for all of us to interact and be real. So that's what I'm hoping that the app will help in building.
Perfect. Okay, so you have, had an extraordinary career by all the measures, but no journey at this level is without any setbacks. So, is there a failure or a moment where you genuinely got it wrong that shaped you how you lead or how you operate today?
So the way I live my life is I set the goals and I work really hard to make that happen. And if it doesn't happen, if I don't accomplish it, I usually have no regrets, because I always give it all. I always give it 100%. So it's not like, well, I wish if I did it this way, if I did it, maybe I would have gotten it. No, I give it all, 100% all the time. So for me, looking back, I don't have regrets. other than being with my kids more than just making sure that they have everything, but not my time. But that's my regret. Failures. I had recently an accident. It wasn't a failure. It was just not being cautious and not being careful enough, but taking risk like I always did with my work, that nothing's going to happen to this. But I don't think, not yet. And I think the less failures you have, the more likely you are to take risks that are not necessary. And I think that's what happened to me. But failures, knock on wood, I have delivered on all the goals that I set as a teenager to myself. And now my goals are to just better improve technology, and by working with industry to help patients have better outcomes with what we do, less trauma, more minimally invasive, more precision, and to help surgeons get there sooner, and so what technology can really help. We didn't have that when I was training. And so but I can't think of failures. Is that weird? Like, I don't know. I don't everything that I set my mind to, I made it happen. Um,
Okay. I mean,
that's weird. Like I feel like, I don't know,
No
I feel
failures.
awkward.
No failures.
I have nothing that I can think of. Well, I
oh,
did in squash. I did get a B plus in undergraduate. That was
oh.
not. I aced everything. My only B plus in undergraduate in college, that was in squash, and I couldn't bring the book and tell them, "Look, you're wrong," because it's subjective, and so that was a failure. That B plus, that was a failure for me. Um, I don't know.
I think exactly like you said, if you set expectations and you have plans A, B, and C, there's no such thing as failure. There's just plan B.
It's true. It's true.
Okay, so considering a B plus as your failure, thank you for sharing that.
But it's true. It's my only
Yeah,
B plus in undergraduate, and
yeah.
in medical school. In medical school, it's even worse. In
Oh,
medical school, I was so obnoxious. I would like always sit right in the front, and if I
yeah,
got a 97, I would go with the book to the professor and said, "Look, this is not an I that was a mistake."
yeah.
And there was, so say, "Okay, let me fix it from an A to an A." I'm like, "No, that's a 97 to 100." I work really hard to get there. So I want to see what I deserve. And but I wouldn't do that today, but I did it then. Just I was just really working really hard to get there, and I demanded what I deserved, and so that was the way I lived my life.
Perfect. Okay. So, with over 220 peer-reviewed publications and more than 200 international speaking engagements, you could easily rest on these credentials. But what still keeps you hungry to build new things like this platform?
So first of all, it's not that the number of publications. It's the only reason I do the publications is to educate others about what we found, and the continuing publication is because there's new technology. So I would use the technology, and I'm going to write about it. What worked, what didn't work, what were the outcomes? How can we use this technology to improve patient care? That's what drives me. It's innovation, and how can we use it to improve patients' outcomes? And that's what keep on driving me to write more papers and publish more. And so if I can improve patients' outcomes, but also help other surgeons to get there sooner, because why keeping it a secret? If you find something that is important that can help other people, why not help the surgeons get there, or the patients to get the good outcomes? So that's what drives me. And when people ask me, like, why do you need the stress of an operation, keep on operating, why don't you just do something else, like with innovation. And I'm like, unless I put the tool in my hands and use it and then have an opinion about it, that I can go with. But to just state what other people think about a certain tool, I've learned that some people use the tool right and many people don't use the tools right. And so in order to have a true opinion, you got to put it in your hands. And so as long as I want to state my opinion and try to have an impact, I got to operate. I got to use it and to help improve patients' care by being there and not just reporting about it. So, but that's what drives me. And regarding the app, I think that the app can really help the community of women. It's a resource to really help one another get there and get there sooner if possible.
So let's talk about what you're building right now. I mean, the platform that you're building right now. So you have partnered with NineHertz to build something genuinely new at the intersection of surgery and technology. In your own words, what does it do? What problem does it solve? And why did you choose this partnership?
Well, I think that the problem that it solves is an opportunity for women to communicate easily. So, having the annual event, the symposium that I put together, it's once a year. And once a year, that gives an opportunity for the younger generation to come together with the older generation and learn more about what it is to be a surgeon, how to get there, what are the challenges that are there that you need to overcome and how to overcome them. But how about if you had an app that on a daily basis you can find a mentor or a sponsor or communicate or have an event together that all the right people are coming together, the ones that are interested, but have it on a daily basis instead of waiting for one event a year to come together. So that's the whole point of developing this community. So on a daily basis, you have people that can help you and people that can be there for you. That's the purpose.
Perfect. Okay. So I do see a pre-med student sitting right next to you. So, I mean, why do you need the WIS platform? And what gap does it fill that nothing else does? And what advantage does, having such a platform gives you?
Yeah, I think it answers almost every question that everybody has at this point. It provides mentorship access that we wouldn't have at this point otherwise. Everything's really up in the air from like high school going into undergrad, from undergrad going into medical school. There's so many different paths that you could take and so many unanswered questions that you just don't know where to go to. I have a really similar story to Dr. Ross. I've had incredible male mentors who have really helped ignite my passion in medicine and surgery. And it's like, great, this is wonderful. I know what I like, but I look at you and I know my life is going to be a little different. I'm a woman. It's so much different for us in our field. So being able to have an app like this where I can go to for professional questions, if I need research, if I need shadowing, if I'm looking for a job in a specific field, being able to go to this app with trusted women that I remember, oh, I saw her at the career symposium a few years ago. We really hit it off and now she has an opening at her office. What a great connection. To very casual things like I need to know what to do about this social situation, this, what is surgery going to look like for me personally in my life and my goals. So I think that it really answers all of those questions from every standpoint. I mean, going on to the app now, I was reviewing with a few of the students, okay, what kind of content should we put out there to help? And I just had a flashback to me going into undergrad from high school, just sitting there researching, what do I even major in to get to that point? And being able to have an app where I can just go on and I can text somebody directly that's in medical school, that's in undergrad, somebody that's just one step above where I need to get to. Hey, what should I do about this really specific minute point? And being able to have such amazing women right there at their fingertips be able to help me with something so small to something so big. So I think that it really answers all of the questions that we go to the internet for, that, you know, we need direct contact with.
Okay, thank you so much. So, looking at all of this, Dr. Ross, if you could sit across from the 22-year-old version of yourself, just starting out full of ambitions, but not yet knowing what was ahead. And so, what would you tell her?
So what I tell all the students that I work with, and I work with many students, is figure out if that's what you want to do. The path is not short. I mean, it's a long path. It is undergraduate, and then medical school, and then residency, and then fellowships. So get some shadowing opportunities. Do some research at an early stage before you even go to medical school. Just see, is that really what you want to do? But if it is, because I think it's the most rewarding profession, if it is, this is the point to make the decision and really put all the effort into it while balancing, but put the effort into it to make it happen. So what I would do is first find women mentors, because I didn't have any. And so for instance, about the guidance toward how to handle my kids, nobody told me that. You know, it's like I didn't think about, like, oh, you know, I'm not spending time with them as much as I should. You know what I mean? I just made sure they're safe. I made sure that they have everything, but I wasn't there as much. And in retrospect, it's like, God, I wish I did it differently, but there was no other woman to tell me and to guide me that might be something that I should do. And the guys were just completely unaware. I mean, because, you know, guys just think differently. And so I don't know, maybe the new generation thinks a little bit, you know, I don't know, but there's some changes in the generation. I think that men today, with the younger generation, are more helpful in raising kids than they were before. But obviously I can't generalize. But that's what I would say. Get mentors, and it could be more men and women. I mean, you really should have a bit of both, but definitely women mentors to help guide you of what to do and not to do, to make it easier, where you can balance better. But you still have to work hard and set the goals and set the expectations, and make sure you get what you want out of it. So exposure early on to the field is important to make the decision.
Yeah. I mean, beautiful. And thank you so much for sharing the insight wherein portraying it so beautifully when it comes to the younger generation and to the older ones and the opportunities. So outside of the surgery, leadership and technology, who is Dr. Sharona Ross? What does a rare day of off of work looks like?
There's time off of work.
Yeah, right.
Well, I do love horses. I love horses. I love. Well, it's not right to say I love guns, but I love I love skeet shooting. You know, I like that sport, skeet shooting. I love boating. I love a lot of things. I mean, I like a lot of things, but I don't get and I didn't get a lot of time going through my career doing them, which that's why I think balancing better would be really useful. But that's what I would teach the younger generation which they know. I mean, for them, we're over here. I'm X generation. It's work, 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 and they're over there. What we need to do is come to the middle. And really, it's remember, in healthcare, it's about patient care. It's a patient has to be in the center. But they need to teach us, and I definitely learned that balancing is important. And but work is also important. Together, it's important to learn a lot of things, and there's so much to learn today, that even more than what when I was entering the medicine. I mean, we know a lot more today than we did in the past. And so working out is essential, but balancing and putting your own health, your whatever else is important to you on your schedule is key. So
Okay, so this pretty much sums up who you are today and why you are where you are. So it has been an absolute privilege. Your story is one of the relentlessest forward motion, and clearly you are just getting started. So thank you so much for your time, your honesty, and everything that you have built. Thank you.
but let me say something about 9Hertz. Hearing about 9Hertz, and that's my son was actually researching it, and then I contacted 9Hertz, and everything is in the past. I mean, really, you guys in 9Hertz have exceptional blend of innovative design and technical expertise, and really commitment to client collaboration, which ensures the delivery of high quality and user-centric applications that are tailored to meet specific needs. And I really think that's important. You prioritize strong and technical expertise, and I truly enjoy working with such an outstanding collaborative a team with excellent communication skill. Let me tell you, every time we have a meeting and I come with some new changes that needs to happen, or new request, they always somehow, you guys make it happen. And so it's truly a pleasure to work with 9Hertz, and I feel like you guys care, and you will do anything possible that you have in your ability to make this, whatever project that you take on yourself, to make it successful. So I truly I feel that you going to give it all, and I really feel very, very lucky that I chose to work with 9Hertz.